and the B-Town blog in Burien, Washington, with music by the brilliantly talented Fro Magnum Man. This is Dayna's Dose, a weekly dose of information provided by author Dayna Mason, intended to help in some small way improve your life.
Welcome to Dayna's Dose. Today's topic is COVID-19, aka coronavirus, how to not only cope but thrive in a climate of panic. I admit that prior to being asked to write this article on the coronavirus, I was a member of the "oh come on, it's just the flu" bandwagon. And while I'm still not worried that I personally could die from the virus, I'm not in the high-risk group, I now understand why those who are responsible for the lives of all citizens are concerned. It's a pandemic and needs to be taken seriously. The good news is that with a little effort, COVID-19 is completely preventable. What's a pandemic? A pandemic is a sustained and continuous transmission of a disease simultaneously in more than 3 different geographical regions. Pandemic simply means widespread and has nothing to do with whether or not a disease is deadly. Coronavirus perspective, the reality versus the hype. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the top 2 causes of death in the U.S. are heart disease and cancer, with 600,000 and 599,000 deaths in 2017, respectively. Influenza, the flu, accounted for 55,000 deaths that same year. As of this writing, COVID-19, coronavirus, has taken 85 lives in the U.S., and those deaths were not due to the virus itself, but due to acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS, or other complications which developed during illness. Most cases of the virus are mild. In children, the symptoms are so mild, the virus can go undetected, and most people who get it fully recover. People are at higher risk of serious illness due to the virus are older adults and those with chronic illnesses or compromised immune systems. The primary difference between the flu and COVID-19 is that deaths from the flu are caused by pneumonia and other complications that develop after the flu has weakened our resistance. COVID-19 deaths are caused by ARDS. ARDS can progress quickly from pneumonia when already damaged lungs fill with fluid, inhibiting breathing. Pneumonia can be treated with drugs. ARDS requires ventilators for treatment, which is why a potential shortage is so dangerous. Those at the highest risk of severe illness and death are not a small group. According to the CDC, 60% of Americans, including the elderly, have at least one chronic illness. This is why containment is so important. Prevention and containment. As of this writing, COVID-19 is not believed to be an airborne virus, transmission from person to person over long distances. Instead, viral droplets from coughing or sneezing don't remain aloft long, approximately 6 feet before they land. This is why it's recommended to keep 6 feet of distance between you and others for containment. The virus can live on some surfaces up to 9 days, and when people touch something a droplet has landed on and then touch their faces, they become infected. This is why wiping down surfaces is so important. According to the CDC, frequent hand washing with soap and water, preferred method over hand sanitizer, is the most effective way to avoid contagion. Elizabeth Scott, a hygiene expert and professor at Simmons University, says hand washing with soap employs mechanical action that loosens bacteria and viruses from the skin, rinsing them into the drain. Keeping a safe distance from infected people, washing our hands, and wiping down surfaces all contribute to avoiding contagion. Open a window and go for a walk. During the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, it was discovered that flu patients recovered better when treated outdoors than when indoors. The fresh air and sunlight were found to prevent infections and death. In the 1960s, biodefense research scientists discovered something they termed open air factor, OAF, to describe the germicidal component in outdoor air that reduces the survival of pathogens. They found outdoor air to be lethal to pathogens. Case studies following the 2003 Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, or SARS, outbreak further supported this, indicating cross-ventilation was an effective way of controlling SARS infection in hospitals. Further studies with the influenza virus showed that OAF was toxic to it as well. Sunlight also is germicidal. Ultraviolet light can be a really powerful disinfectant, and we get a lot of UVA light from the sun, says Daniel Koritskis, an infectious disease expert and professor at Harvard Medical School. Research has shown that fresh air and sunlight are toxic to viruses, so if we have to stay in our homes, let's open a window. If not, let's go for a walk outside where germs have a tougher time existing. Stay calm and connected in spite of social distancing. It's important to maintain human connection. Isolation can affect immune functioning, putting us at greater risk of illness. The need for social distancing to keep a safe distance physically from others to prevent spread of illness at this time doesn't mean no connection. Fortunately, we live in a time when it's easier than ever to connect with each other remotely. We can call, text, video chat, email, or message on social media almost anyone, anywhere in the world. We can reach out to others, let them know we care. Staying connected helps alleviate fear. To further reduce anxiety, we can limit the amount of time we watch the news or read articles related to the pandemic. We already live in a time when we're reminded daily of the risk of premature death by cancer, heart disease, addiction, gun violence, car accidents, etc. COVID-19 is just one more way our lives could potentially be shortened, so let's not become consumed by fear. In the essay on Living in an Atomic Age, C.S. Lewis reminds us that what's important is not when and how we will die, but what we're doing in the meantime. Quote, "This is the first point to be made, and the first action to be taken is to pull ourselves together. If we are all going to be destroyed by an atomic bomb, let that bomb, when it comes, find us doing sensible and human things, praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting to our friends over a pint and a game of darts, not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about bombs. They may break our bodies, a microbe can do that, but they need not dominate our minds." End quote. We need to keep things in perspective and not allow fear to dominate our minds. We will get through this and may even grow as a community from the experience. The Italian people recently displayed an inspirational example of the human spirit's creative ability to stay connected and not live in fear. Even in quarantine, they found a way to commune by singing together from their balconies. To advance to the next level in a video game, quote, level up, end quote, gamers don't worry about what will happen 5 levels ahead. They focus on what is in front of them right now. That's a valuable life lesson. Let's level up. Knowing what to do is half the battle. Equipped with knowledge, we can take right action now that gets us to the next level. So let's stay calm, do what needs to be done, and save some lives.